Hi class, today we're looking at Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Variables and Expressions. Our essential question is how can you use numbers and symbols to represent mathematical ideas? Algebra is a branch of mathematics that uses symbols. A variable is often used in algebra. A variable is a letter or symbol used to represent an unknown value. Any letter can be used as a variable. So some examples of variable expressions we could have as 4 minus x. That is a variable expression because we know that the variable x is the missing letter or the missing numeric value. We could have something such as 5m plus 6 because we know that 5m means 5 times m and therefore m is the missing value. And we could have an expression a times b. So this time we have two variables that are missing their values. And finally, another example could be y divided by 3. So y is our missing value, and that would be considered the unknown letter or the unknown numeric value, so we can solve. Now, how to translate a verbal phrase into an algebraic expression. Step 1, decide what variable to use and what it will represent. Step number 2, look for keywords and phrases to translate words to numbers and symbols. So in our practice, we will go through letter A, translate each phrase into an algebraic expression. So for letter A, we have $3 more than the cost of a sandwich. So we know that our value is $3, so it's the number 3. Then we notice we have a key phrase, more than. Because of the word than, we know we're going to have to switch whatever the cost of the sandwich is. And in this case, the cost of the sandwich is our unknown, and that would be our variable. So the word more actually means to add. So in this case, our phrase would be translated into x plus 3. And that would be our final expression. Because we know that the cost of a sandwich would have to add $3 because it says $3 more than the cost of a sandwich, which is our unknown. In letter B, Mari had $2 and made $6 per hour babysitting. So if she already has the $2, so we know that is already added to the $6 per hour. And in this case, the per hour, meaning that you have no idea what hour she's working, so that would be the variable. In this case, it would simply be 6 times the x. So our final answer would be 2 plus 6x because she already has the $2 and she's going to be paid the $6 times the amount of hours that she's babysitting. Now in letter C, we have the difference between 6 times a number and 10. The key word here is difference, and that means to subtract. 6 times a number, that is simply saying 6 times that variable. So times a number would be the variable x. And the number 10. This looks a little odd because we know that the subtraction sign should actually be in between the 6x and the 10. So our final answer should be 6x minus 10. And that would be our final answer. And then in letter D, 30 pencils divided equally among some students. So now we see that the key word here is divided. So that means we take the 30 pencils and we are going to divide the amount of students that is the unknown. So equally among some students that we don't know. So in this case, our final answer would simply just be that you are dividing the 30 divided by x. So we could actually write it as 30 over x. So the x represents the amount of students that we potentially could have. Please turn your notes over to the back side now. Now, substitution property of equality. If two quantities are equal, then one quantity can be replaced by the other. So for example, evaluate the following expression if D equals 16 and F equals 18. So this is just a substitution problem. So step one, you're going to substitute in the values. So in this case, I'm going to substitute in 16 for the letter D, and I'm going to add 5 minus F, which is 18. So I'm going to substitute 18 for F. Now we use order operations to evaluate. So we're going to go from left to right, and 16 plus 5 is 21. We subtract that from 18, and our final answer ends up being 3. And that would be our evaluation. Now go ahead and take a few minutes to practice your evaluating expression. Make sure you're using x equals 3 as your value, y equals 4, and z equals 7. Make sure we do understand that when the number and the variable are next to each other, they are actually multiplying. And follow the order of operations. Now for your final practice, go into your textbook on page 16 and complete problems 1 through 11 and number 42.